2024 meeting of the Committee of the Whole Council of the Municipality of the County of Annapolis, and we will begin with a roll call, starting with District 1, please.
Bruce Prout. District 2, Brian Fuzzy-Call.
District 3, Dustin Enslow.
District 4, Clyde Barno.
District 5, Lynn Longmire.
District 6, Lloyd Morrison.
District 7, David Hudson.
And District 8, Michael Gunn.
District 9, Wendy Sheridan.
District 10, Brad Redden.
District 11, Diane LeBlanc.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures of interest? Thank you. We have the minutes of the 10th of September regular meeting. Thank you. We'll go to page 3. That's not right.
7.
We'll go to page 7.
Yep.
Deputy Warden.
I move that council approve a grant of $14,237 to Royal Canadian Legion Branch 112, Lawrencetown, to assist with emergency roof replacement for the hall, and that this funding be approved as an over expenditure in the community grants budget in the 2024-2025.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Connell. Discussion.
Right here.
Councillor Gunn, please.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that Legions, Royal Canadian Legions is a private club who can grant membership or not membership. And if the Legion ever goes belly up, that property will go back to Scotia Command, or whatever they call it.
You should explain belly up, please.
Belly up means goes under, financially
under.
unstable, whatever. If they don't keep going along, that property will go back to the what do they call it, Alec? You might be able to help me. Scotia Command.
Provincial Command.
No, Nunavut Command.
All right, I will ask Nancy to explain that, as she has done multiple times over the past 12 years.
Yes, the council has awarded grants to Legions as they're considered a not-for-profit charitable organization. They're registered as a charity.
Thank you. Further discussion. Councillor Longmire, please.
Thank you. I just would like to add that, these are valuable spaces. They hold a tremendous amount of history for us all. And equally to our halls in our communities, they are gathering spaces for lots of different reasons. And I am always impressed when I see the grants, the requests come in, because it shows their determination perhaps, or their commitment to the very thing that means so much to them and their communities. So I'm grateful to see it. I know it goes over and above what is typically allocated. Typically, we will vote on it because it is perhaps above and beyond, but it's what's necessary. Roofs are not cheap, and the repairs, it's going to be endless. These spaces and places are older infrastructures and require a lot of funding. Thanks.
In their application, if I may, Warden, they do support many organizations in the community. So this particular Legion hosts very successful dart competitions, youth dart competitions, as well as adults who've actually gotten awards for it, and meet darts, dances, and they also host the LASA for their senior fitness exercises, which you guys have supported before as well. So they're quite busy.
And just incidentally, on the 9th of November at 7:30 in the morning, in the Clementsport region, the entire student and staff population of Clark Rutherford School will be sitting down to breakfast. I have Councillor Connell, Councillor Prout, Councillor Hudson. There we go. Councillor Connell, please.
Yes, as our staff has said, it's a very busy hub in Lawrencetown. They have got a small little community hall, but it's not used a lot. So the Legion is kind of used as a community hall in the area, and they represent everything from youth to senior programs, and they're very successful in getting the senior programs in their hall and getting the seniors in Lawrencetown involved in it. So it is a hub for the community, and an if you look at the pictures, it definitely does need to be repaired.
Thank you. Councillor Crouch, please.
Thank you. I'll be voting for this. I think it's been mentioned around the table. Why? And if I'm not mistaken, the Lions Club, I think, also uses that building, don't they? Or did I? So it's community oriented. The pictures say it all. I think it's a good idea to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson, please.
Thank you very much. I guess I'd just like to ask the question mainly directed to the CAO. This is an over expenditure of our budget, as was the case with the hall that we approved here last meeting. And I'm just wondering that, we set a budget and, I think we should stay somewhat within our budget. And I was just wondering if this one, as well as the previous one, could be set up as a prepaid expense. And from that perspective, be carried through to next year and be part of next year's budget. These will affect cash flow. I fully realize that. But, I think, we have to stay within our budget. I support this, by the way, but I just think that, we should stay within our budget, and there is a method of carrying that forward. I just ask the CAO if that's possible.
All right, Mr. Chairman, sure it's possible. I guess from a staff perspective, staff are comfortable that we can find some cost savings in other areas of the budget to make sure we're still committed under budget at the end of the year. What staff doesn't want to do is burden the next council and take the last grant and this grant out of the next budget, and then the next council has to come forward, and before they even start talking about budgets and tax rates, they're already $30,000 or $40,000 behind. So staff aren't recommending we take that action and set it up as a prepaid. But we actually just do it this way, put it as an over expenditure, and staff will find ways to save money in other areas of the budget to make sure we still come in balanced at the end of the year.
Okay.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Oh, right here.
Councillor Gunn, please.
Thank you so much. I didn't say I wasn't going to support it, but I was just pointing out the fact that that's what legions are. Thank you.
Councillor LeBlanc, please.
They need help, it's an emergency, and I can see that we have to help them out. I only have one question, because I don't know what it is. On page 11, where we talk about the revenues, they have the county grant, funding, LASA, Lawrencetown, something?
Seniors Association.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Deputy Warden?
Well, I've mostly, Nadine had covered, Nancy had covered most of what I was going to say, that the place is very busy. There's a lot of things going on there, and it was, we could have had this a little faster for them, I think, with a little more communication. That is all.
Thank you. Councillor Barfield, please.
I'm in support of organizations like this. It's a facility that's used by the community, and we got to remember too, as time goes by, the reasoning or the longevity of it is going to be affected because our veterans are getting less and less, our war veterans, and it's turning into more of a social club aspect. They're taking in more people that aren't like associate members, they're more just affiliates, and I think that's the way things are going. We've already got precedent that we've supported other legions because they're community support facilities. So I think that we need to keep in mind going ahead where the future's going, and if we don't support some of these, they might disappear, and I think that would be a shame.
Thank you. Councillor Otway, please.
Thank you. I just want to tap into what Deputy Warden Redden said about better communication. I think that is paramount to our responsibility as counselors in going out regularly, whatever that looks like, informing halls on what grants are out there, going into the office, finding out from the talents that we have. I know Nancy has been instrumental for me. I've leaned on Deb Ryan in the past, Brian Ord as well with the generator applications and things like that. You know, when we know what we have to offer and those persons that work in the office are always exploring and getting other information sharing from other outside sources, then we know what we can offer halls and legions, and so better communication can come through that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Warden,
Yes,
could I say something?
please.
I just want to thank council because it's a team effort when we support groups like this. It's an individual never gets anything. It's always a portion of council has to approve a project, and I'm very pleased to see that council is supportive of all of us. Thank you.
Page 18, please. Councilor Gunn, do you have a motion?
I do have a motion. It's probably going to want to be amended. But anyway, I would propose a motion, or I move that Annapolis County direct staff to repost signage along the Lake Cady watershed area as a protected watershed zone. I've got every 100 feet so as to thwart any attempts to apply herbicides by means of aerial, ground-based applications. Aerial and ground-based acts, and further, the expense of this should come from the Lake Cady water utility.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Longmire. Mr. Young.
I guess, Ben, if you could pull up the Aries PDF first.
I'll just bring it up there.
Yeah. So what I want to show you is kind of what Mike you have in front of you. The area of Lake Cady. So the area of Lake Cady around the perimeter is 27.6 kilometers. So we'll have to strategically think about where we want to post signs. It's a good idea. I'm in favor of it. But he's going to show you one slide that will show the perimeter of, you can't do it.
Need a USB?
Oh, okay.
I've come back.
So what is the cost?
Oh, the cost of posting every 100 feet would be over $125,000. So we're not going to, we wouldn't suggest that you...
Excuse me, we are talking about this motion.
And we do have a generic sign that the county has, and I've used previously, but it is no indication that it's Lake Cady, it's Margarettsville, it's Bridgetown, or it's Granville Ferry. So when I saw that, I said, okay, we have to probably upgrade the sign and change it. So a single unit is in the neighborhood of $150. That includes the post, the sign, and everything, and our staff would put them on.
So it's over 100,000.
125, yeah.
125.
So if I may just clarify, so the request is just for Lake Cady, as Mr. Young said, however many kilometers, 27? 27 kilometers at 100 feet, which is the motion. It's well in excess of 300 signs, 125,000. Doesn't include staff time, which then you would have to have a couple staff, probably take them 2 months to go install those signs, because it's not simple putting it next to the road. It's in very dense terrain and very odd terrain. So if we get the map put up there, you'll see that. And so this is just Lake Cady, of course, is what's being recommended. And recognize the motion is that it come from Lake Cady Water Utility, but there's lots of people who are in that water source area that aren't part of the water utility. So if you put it on the water utility users, it'll be paid for by a few people, but a lot of other people will get the benefit, but aren't in the water utility. They're just in the source water protection area, so just to clarify that.
it's one county rate for water. There's not a separate one for Margarettsville or for Granville Ferry or Bridgetown. Well, there is right now for Bridgetown, but there'll soon be one.
So I have a question.
Okay, so firstly, this is the sign that we have right now. There's the problem under, just moving a little slow. Keep coming, there.
Yep.
So we want to make something more specific to our watersheds, put our logo on it, all those other things, dress it up. I'd say that's an older sign. To move forward, but if you look, I just wanted to show you an example of the perimeter. So you can see it goes all the way around. This is Lake Katy here. Okay, and this is the Shell Camp Lake. This is Potter Lake. Not sure what the name of this is. But our head pond is right up underneath here that you would have seen when we went on our tour. All these water sources collect into that head pond. So you can appreciate going around the outside through the woods and stuff. We're not going to do that. This plan is registered with the province now. They didn't have, so for some reason, even though they approved our new source water protection 10-year program and plan, and it's registered with them, one part of the department didn't know we had a new plan that was reviewing what Michael brought to everybody's attention about the spraying around the Shell Camp Lake area. I think there were 2 properties in this area here, right adjacent to the lake itself. So when I got hold of the right person that was going to be issuing permits, I said, you need to take a look at our source water protection plan. This area is clearly protected under our source water protection plan, approved by your department. So that was the end of the discussion, never heard from them again.
Thank you. Councillor Cotw, Councillor Longmire, Councillor Hudson.
So how many roads or excess areas that the public can go into that protected zone?
I'm not sure how many, but we'd have to look at that and then strategically post some signs. And it's an acknowledgement thing more than anything, because in order to use products like that, they're registered, and somebody has to get approval to apply a product. And that approval comes from Environment. Environment now is aware of our plan and the extent of it. So, yeah, I'd have to look at a count and what makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I hear what's being proposed, and eventually I would think that we would do similar to all water supplies, because it's public notice that it's that people understand that it's a public water supply. I would be 100% for posting any entrance that the public has to go in. If there's a cottage road with 3 cottages on it, post it people, so all 3 of them get the use of the sign. But to put it every 100 feet all the way around is very expensive, where we haven't done anything to our other water supplies. It's it still would be nice to make sure the public and the cottage owners realize, and people that visit the cottage owners understand that that is a protected area, and it is a very important water supply. And it should be stated that it's Lake Katy, or Lake Katy water supply.
Source water protection area. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Longmire, please.
So I go back, thank you. I look at the very first sentence. The province granted permits to spray glyphosate in Lake Katy watershed area, reportedly not realizing that it was part of our protected water source. How many years has Lake Katy been a water source?
Lake Katy has been, but the new addition of this area down in here is fairly new, I would say within the last 10 years, because environment is now requiring us to sample the Shell Camp Lake and Potterley.
So,
Excuse me, it says reportedly not realizing.
okay.
That does not mean
Yes.
the province does not realize, it
Oh,
means
yes,
someone
okay.
has said.
Yes, my concern is that if it is a 10-year water source, it was never registered before?
I don't think it was registered to that extent in the past.
So where's the, how do we communicate that? Why would that have been missed?
They have our 10-year plans by law, we have to submit them to them.
And they would have received that
They receive them by the date every year.
every
Or
year?
not every year, but every 10 years.
Yes.
For an assessment of our source water protection plan,
Yes,
and the plan includes the mapping.
and it did include
Mhm.
that
The
portion?
latest one did.
It did?
Yes.
And that was submitted when? When would have that been that last report filed for registry, or to register?
Just within the last couple of years, or less.
I'm disappointed to think that somebody didn't communicate. If it is the province that dropped the ball on this,
Oh, yeah.
I'm very disappointed. Yeah.
But it is not the province that dropped the ball.
I don't know who
According
dropped
to
it. If I
this.
said if it was. I don't know who dropped it, but it's a serious matter, right? Yes.
But what has been dropped?
I don't know. I'm using it just as wordplay, let's call it, but it's a serious matter when water possibly is affected by harsh chemicals, things that will be problematic for one's health, animal's health, ecosystem, doesn't matter. It's the whole thing. It's not safe practice. There.
I absolutely agree.
Thank you.
I'll just make a generic comment. From 35 years working in provincial government, sometimes one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing.
Exactly.
Excuse me. This says somebody reportedly said that the province didn't know it. We have no facts, truth, or evidence that the province did not know it.
Thank you.
Councillor Hudson, please.
Yes, I think I have the answer for the first part of my question. So those permits have been withdrawn? Okay. Now, the second part of the question is simply this. Is the main objective of this is to curtail aerial spraying? Like it's mentioned here, or ground-based applications. But is it aimed at aerial spraying?
That would have to be the mover of the motion.
Excuse me, that's not a,
Okay. I just want to
it's
get
not
it
fair to
clear.
ask a staff member to
Okay.
explain the motion.
Okay.
Councillor Gunn, would you like to?
Can I give you, Mike, a breakdown? I have a sheet here.
Councillor Hudson, could you ask your question again, please?
My question simply is this motion directed mainly towards aerial spraying?
No.
Or
Okay.
both aerial and groundwater?
Ground-based.
Ground-based
It's
application?
in the watershed area. We can't have them ground spraying in our watershed area either. We don't want glyphosate in our watershed area.
Yep.
Thank you.
But who would be doing ground-based applications?
That could be anywhere from the Department of Nova Scotia Power does ground-based spraying. Any private landowner may well do ground-based spraying. A lot of the way they do it now is they go cut the stump on these feeder maples and things like that. They'll find the main stump, they'll cut that, and they'll put a few drops of glyphosate on top, and that supposedly will weed down and kill the root system.
Thank you. Councillor Ansel, please.
Thank you. I'm just surprised from this conversation, and
a motion that we didn't already do this. We didn't already have signage. Like, I know you showed us the sign that was on file, but if you drive by any other watershed within the province, so HRM, or if we go over to Bridgewater, you see signs everywhere. I just don't understand, if we had signs, why do we not have them up?
It's been a while since I've driven through there, but in my mind, I remember signs. Do we not have any signs?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Oh, we have signs. Oh, okay, all right, perfect, all right.
They're fairly generic signs, as you saw.
Yes, yeah, okay. But, no, I'm for this, not for the 100 feet, but for every entrance and common area, like what Councillor Connell said. But I believe we should open this up to have a countywide project of all of our watersheds. You know, just not Lake Cotw. We have other places that we should probably took this on as a year-long project or an ongoing project of Public Works, that we put signage up. Because if the sign's not there, people don't know. And I've learned over the past 2 years anyway on council that people don't always pay attention, and signs are the way to go. So we can say that we have it on Facebook or whatever, but I think we should take this as a big project and do it for all the watersheds. Thank you.
My understanding is they all have signs.
I talked to the ODRC
Motion's only
of
for Lake
water,
Cotw.
and he said they have signs, but he's not sure how many,
Right.
and if they're strategically located.
Yeah, so,
And they couldn't.
Exactly, but there are some.
there are some, but like we should take it as a big project to review for all the watersheds, and any entry into the watershed, we should have a visible sign. I don't agree with going through the woods and putting them in random places, but any entrance or swimming area or whatever, I think we should look at that. Thank you.
Councillor Bartow, followed by Councillor Longline.
We're talking, the motion's specifically about Lake Cotw, so I'll just kind of follow on from that, and I'd like to make an amendment to that motion. And that would be I would move to remove the line every 100 feet and add to be placed at all access roads and trail passage locations and regularly placed around the perimeter of the watershed protection area at locations to be determined.
Would you?
I can hand that to you.
Okay.
To be determined, or I can just say it slower, but I'll get through the first round anyway. Where was I? At locations to be determined by the municipal authority. I'm not sure if you can read my scribbling, but
We'll figure it out.
Could you read that again?
Yes. Councillor Bartow, would you be so kind?
I will.
Slowly. What would
Yeah, heard and yeah. If I get too slow, let me know. The motion is to remove every 100 feet and add to be placed at all access roads and trail passage locations and regularly placed around the perimeter of the watershed protection area at locations to be determined by municipal authority.
And am I correct?
Was that slow enough?
You are leaving in so as to thwart any attempts to apply herbicides by means of aerial or ground-based applications. You're deleting
Yeah,
every 100 feet, inserting that, and then it flows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's what my intention was only the every 100 feet and then just replace it with the wording that I presented.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for the amendment? Councillor Enzo. We will have a discussion on the amendment. And we all know what that is. Okay, Councillor Longmire, Councillor Enzo, Councillor Sherry.
Thank you. I have to think strategically here. So, I appreciate the amendment. I would just like to think that we would also include how we communicate it to other parties. Because the word dense was used, that the land is dense, you're putting it at the mouth of entrances. That doesn't mean that someone can't sneak in and do their business. We know that that is always a possibility. We mentioned Nova Scotia Power and private persons who would spray, and as Councillor Gunn mentioned about the trickling down.
We are talking on...
You are. I just want to make sure that it communicates to all parties, so that we're just not posting signs, that we need to make sure that we include communication and a receipt back that they know that we are now serious about our waterways. Thank you.
Sorry, what do you mean by a receipt back from the
So
citizens that they have?
So if a motion passes and that we now know as a county we're going to post signage, I would want to take it the next step and have communication sent to all parties that may have in the past walked that land, drove that land, to spray that land by ground or other, that they now know we are posted, because I don't know how the monitoring happens.
And you want them to send a receipt back?
A receipt back saying they have read our, if it's a directive, that we are now posted, they cannot enter on, I don't know how you do it.
Boy, that's a...
I know, but you know, anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there. I just want communication to be shared, yeah.
Are you offering an amendment to the amendment?
Yes,
Okay, so...
and then, I don't know where it ended because it sounds like 3 paragraphs, but just that we include a communication method.
Sorry. It needs to be in language.
I don't know where it ended, so, and that we communicate the posting of signage on these areas that we are now posted. I don't remember what the sign says.
Protected watershed zone.
Is there a seconder for the amendment to the amendment?
No, it's not really a tidy amendment.
I have to hear
Is
it
there a
again.
seconder for the amendment to the amendment?
Well, I just want to continue just for 1 second. If we don't communicate, then we don't follow through. That's what
I'm just wondering how we get a receipt from, do we have a seconder for the amendment to the amendment? I do not see a seconder. The amendment to the amendment does not proceed, and we are continuing discussion on the amendment.
I need to be in there.
Look, Councillor LeBlanc, wait a minute.
No, just add me in.
I had Councillor Enzo and Sheraton, LeBlanc, and the deputy warden.
Thank you. Before I speak, would it be possible for the acting clerk or the clerk to reread what this amended motion is?
Thank you.
I have it all put together.
Oh, I can wait.
So, I'm,
Right there. That's what they do.
okay. I move that Annapolis County Council directs staff to repost signage along Lake Katy watershed area as a protected watershed. So as to throw any attempts to, no, we had to add. And to be placed at all access road and trail passages, locations, and regularly placed around watershed protection area at locations to be determined by municipal authorities. So as to draw any attempts to apply herbicides by means of aerial or ground-based applications. Further, the expense of this should come from the Lake Katy water utility.
I would offer amendment. to that amendment.
You're,
I would offer amendment to that amendment.
Well, I still wanted to,
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear the motion before I actually talk,
okay.
because I'd like to...
Okay, so I've got Councilor Enzo, Sheridan, LeBlanc, and Gunn.
Yeah, yeah, the deputy board.
And Deputy-
Redding is after me, or before me.
Okay. I'd like to make an amendment to the amendment, to the amendment, to the amendment, to the amendment. So, all right, I'm not good at this on the fly, so I would like to make an amendment to strike the Lake Cady watershed area and replace with repost signage along all county protected watershed areas.
That's not an amendment to the amendment. That's an amendment to the original motion.
No,
No, you see, I'm not sure that that's germane, because you're saying, I want to replace a Chev with a Cadillac.
Well, not really.
Well, yes, it is. You're changing the whole thing. I think it's time for a break. We'll take a 5-minute break.
Yes. Jim?
Thank you.
well, I thought that was still part of the amendment.
You said it was going to
Dustin,
Thank you. We are now back
I don't
in
like being cut
session.
off like that, sir.
And each
Don't do it
council
again.
member has a copy of the motion with the proposed amendment. And I am wondering, Councillor Berto, if in the interests of making relevant progress, that you would agree to withdraw your amendment.
At this time, yes.
Thank you very much. The amendment is withdrawn. Councillor Gunn,
Thank you, sir. I withdraw the motion,
thank you.
and I would offer that we refer this matter of the watershed posting to staff for a recommendation report.
Thank you. Is there a seconder to that? Councillor Sheridan. Discussion. Councillor Longmire.
Thank you. I wouldn't want to overlook the work that the Source Water Protection Committee can do as well. So I would, I guess, further that with, my wish would be to recommend it to that committee. Leave it there.
What's the name of the committee?
Source Water Protection Committee.
And it would then
Then,
write up something for committee of the whole to the exclusion of staff input.
I wouldn't want to, you've been through that.
I mean, they would, I would think, be guided with staff input.
Oh, Lord. I thought that.
Okay.
We'd need an amendment,
Yes.
and that it would be referred to the Source Water Protection Committee as opposed to referring it directly to staff, and the staff would meet with the committee and review the matter, and then it would come back as a recommendation from the Source Water Protection Committee to some degree with input from staff.
Okay, so would you like to make an amendment? Councillor Gunn, read your motion once more, please.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, and further, I would refer this matter of watershed posting to staff for a recommendation report.
So your amendment might be delete staff, insert.
Insert Source Water Protection Committee. And yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder to the
And staff.
amendment?
You
Can
were,
I put, sorry, and staff, Source Water Protection Committee.
No, I mean-
Oh, no.
I know, okay, the Source Water Protection Committee. I'll end it there, thanks.
Is there a seconder for that amendment? There is no seconder. We will now proceed to voting on discussion of the motion to refer it to staff. All in favor?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Thank you very much.
Because I'm on the over.
could I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Would that be assumed that, or protocol, that that would be referred from staff back to the Source Water Protection Committee so they could peruse it before it goes to the Committee of the Whole?
At this point, I'm not sure. It'll depend on how quickly the data is available and how quickly, but probably we'll have a Source Water Protection meeting before then, and if we do, then we'll share that information, have a discussion with them, yes.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
A former premier used to say to me, Ellie, governments are not fast. Governments are not slow. Governments are. I have a motion to go in camera, please. In accordance with section 22(2)A, acquisition, sale, and security of municipal property. Deputy Warden, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.